All right, I'm doing something a little different. I'm gonna watch the whole video. I'm gonna react to the whole video, and I got this from Flight. Let's see, it's teen killer forced to tell mom about the crimes. All right, let's do it. So I got this inspiration from Flight. He also reacted to this video. I'm not trying to copy Flight. I love Flight to death. I'm not gonna lie, half my inspiration come from his ass. But yeah, I also seen this on TikTok, dude. He was tweaking out, but I'm actually watch the full video. So here we go. By the way, this is Doctor Insanity's channel. I own none of the content. I'm just reacting. I'm just a dude in his room watching videos, reacting. That's it. All right, let's see this.
She okay? You see where she's hit at? No, it's on the side of her head. They're saying she's pregnant too.
Wait, what did he do again? Teen killer forced to tell mom about his crimes. Fuck. Yeah, this is
This
sad.
woman was just informed that her daughter, Tiyara Harris, was shot in a gang-related incident and is in critical condition.
Yeah.
They just was shooting.
R.I.P. Tara.
Dripping from her head, like shooting them under the ambulance. Like I can't even talk right now, bro.
Her boyfriend rushed her to the hospital, but sadly, it was already too late. And the worst
Tragic.
part, Tiara had nothing to do with the shootout. She was an innocent bystander. A simple mix-up left an innocent, pregnant mother of two dead, her children now motherless, and her family absolutely heartbroken. The police now face a grueling investigation. However, with everyone involved supposedly being gang members, catching the killers would prove to be much harder than anything they'd done before. We've been in touch with Yolanda, the mother featured in this video, and are proud to share that half of the video's profits will be donated to the Akron-based charity
That's
First
good,
Glance
man.
Student Center.
That's good. That's good.
At 7:29 p.m. on April 14th, Akron Police Department would receive multiple calls reporting dozens of gunshots being fired out of 1492 Rockaway Street. Witnesses would describe what seemed like a gang-related shooting with multiple cars speeding away from the scene, one being a silver four-door Chevy. Police managed to quickly track down the Chevy, following it as the driver sped across back roads in Akron. However, the Chevy wasn't actually running from the cops. It instead would pull over somewhere that concerned the cops even more. The hospital.
Oh no. Oh, this dude tripping, man. Oh wait, no. Did the killer drive her to the hospital?
Go ahead and shut the car off. Shut the car off. Shut the car off here. Go ahead and put your hands on top of your head.
Oh, he definitely did it, bro.
Nope, nope.
No racist shit. He got the ski on. I mean,
Step out. Step out. All right, man. Here, step back here to the back of the car. Go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
With the incident being reported as a gang-related shootout, police would assume the man driving the Chevy to be a gang member, meaning he would be very unlikely to talk to them. So instead, they decide to stop him in the back of a patrol car for later interrogation. As this was going on, dozens of additional 911 calls would ring in, witnesses would arrive at the Akron Police Department to give their testimonies, and more
damn,
cars
man.
would
Shit
arrive
like
at the
this really be
hospital.
happening, though.
Most importantly, though, 4 miles away, a young woman would be placed in an ambulance under critical condition with a bullet wound to her head. Turns out all of this would be connected to a large group of reckless shooters. It's at this point that we need to step in. This is one of the most complex and mysterious cases we've ever covered, so we need to break down some details first in order for you to fully understand the case itself and how well the police handled every single step of solving it. At 7:22 p.m., a car arrived at 1492 Rockaway Street carrying a number of people who started hanging out with some friends on the side of the road. This group included Javier Small, Lanier Worthy, and Jonte Smith. Everything
Lanier
seemed
Worthy?
fine until 7:29 p.m. A black vehicle reversed into the street carrying Tiyara Harris and her boyfriend George. Her boyfriend recognized some of the people on the sidewalk and wanted to back up and say hi to them. At that very moment, on the other end of the street, 3 men emerged from an unrelated vehicle and started firing bullets.
Damn, straight to it.
These men were Zaire Saunders, 17-year-old Antonio Whitaker, and Darion Rackley, all affiliated with the gang BBM, a notoriously violent gang active in Akron at the time. There was also the driver of the car, Jeremiah Williams. Their shots scattered the group on the sidewalk, with everyone running for cover. In the panic, Jonte and Javier drew their guns and began to shoot back. Bullets went back and forth, and everyone went into a panic as they realized their lives were at risk and a bullet could strike them at any moment. Seconds later, the dust settled, and the BBM members Zaire, Antonil, and Darion fled the scene.
BBL
However,
members.
a grueling silence would ring throughout the street as Tiara's boyfriend, George, realized Tiyara was the sole victim of the shooting.
Damn,
With
they didn't even get the
BBM
ops.
splitting
They
up
just
and
got a
running
whole
in different
random girl.
directions, George flooring it to the hospital, and everyone on the sidewalk either heading inside or preparing to head to the hospital too, cops would begin the grueling task of figuring out what just happened and who ultimately was the one that fired the killing shot. Now that you understand exactly what happened, we can join the police as they try to figure out what just went down and how to solve the developing mystery. Remember that all the cops have received at this point is a phone call alerting them to the shooting and a description of the silver Chevy they've just pulled a gang member from.
There's another victim that's at we don't know where that victim's going to go. There's a possibility that victim may be deceased.
Yeah, they got shot. Okay.
Someone's got to go check, probably.
Two of the officers ran over to the front of the hospital and discovered Javier Small and his girlfriend in complete distress.
He can't go with you in that room. Because she's got to go to get checked out. Hang tight.
As it turns out,
Damn.
another girl was also hit in the shooting. That being this man's girlfriend. Luckily, she was only shot in the leg, but he was still extremely distraught and horrified.
I know
by
it
the
hurt.
incident.
Oh my god. Getting shot anywhere would hurt.
I gotta go to the house with my girl, bro. We'll get you. I gotta go to the house. I'm gonna come back. I'll tell you how she's gonna be fine. I don't know, bro. This girl just got shot, bro. No.
Despite how distraught this guy is, he was a passenger in the Chevy, which they just found multiple firearms inside of. So police promptly arrested him.
Ah, come on, man.
Across town, however,
Ah.
there was someone in a much worse position. Tiyara Harris, the passenger in the black car.
That's fucked, man.
They're saying she's pregnant too.
Oh,
How pregnant
she had a
is she?
baby too, man.
How far along? 2. Okay. 2 weeks. Maybe 2? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's not that bad. What? Bro, what's his badge number? Looking at us, I'm playing.
Not right now. I'm sorry, man.
Oh my god, we ain't got no time for ads right now. This video already long as hell. Skip. God.
Bro, Yanni just got shot. I mean, T just got shot. Bro, just in the car, just driving down the street, in Kenworth, driving from over there, and they just was shooting. None of the glass broke, but she wasn't like moving or talking. So I just brought her, and the blood just started dripping from her head. Like,
Oh.
bro, we see in the hospital. She's in the ambulance. Like, I can't even talk right now, bro.
Tiyara was immediately rushed to the local hospital, and her boyfriend George was brought in for questioning. He wasn't a lead suspect.
George.
But police did find it odd that he just happened to arrive at the site of a violent shooting right as it all went down. He would claim to be innocent and actually provide a detailed description of everything that went down that night.
You turned off here, so
no, boom, no, I didn't. I came this way, and I said, "What y'all got? Like, what y'all got going on over here?" Like, I'm like basically saying, "Is y'all good?"
Right.
As soon as I said that, somebody from down here got to just shooting a gun that just kept shooting. That's all I know. But I didn't hear nobody or nothing like that.
So you're right there, and then you heard that. How many shots did you hear?
Man, I can't even recall. It was a lot. And then as soon as I
So
said
you were
that,
facing this way?
no,
You literally backed all the way on.
Say I'm coming down here in this Rockaway. Like, this would be Rockaway.
Okay.
Down, I backed up.
Oh, so you backed, so the back of your car was facing that way.
And I'm like, is y'all? I'm like, what y'all got going on? Like, I look out just like that.
Like out the window?
Like, as soon as I even it should have been me. Like, you feel me? Because I'm the one that looked straight out the window. Like, are y'all all right? Y'all all right? Type stuff.
The cops asked him why he was even there in the first place, to which he just said he knew a couple of people on the street and that he had absolutely no involvement in the shooting. He's claiming that when he peeked out the window, his friends mistook him for the shooter and began to fire bullet after bullet directly at his vehicle. According to him, it wasn't an accident, but a misunderstanding, making the whole situation even more tragic. With George's statement, they were a little clearer on the whole situation. But they'd made
This
no
whole thing fucked
progress
up.
into actually solving the case,
I'm not gonna lie.
or tracking down the real perpetrators. That was until they returned to the scene and spoke to a number of witnesses who had watched the entire
I
event
know
take
this dude
place.
snitching.
It was two African
I
Americans.
knew it, man.
Where they running young kids. They come from back there across this backyard next door and out the driveway.
They hopped the fence.
Black. He had a face mask on and had a 9mm. And then the other one had a semi-automatic rifle.
What the fuck? Bro, these are super villains. What is that? Bro, is that? Oh my god, that's a long barrel. I don't know shit about guns, but that look like something you should not have.
And they were almost to the corner of the house.
That's crazy.
This way, and they both jumped the fence.
That's
Like when
crazy.
kid in the hoodie jumped maroon hoodie jumped the fence, he dropped the semi-automatic rifle at the driveway.
I was just out back cutting some stuff, and all I heard was just a barrage of bullets, fully auto. It wasn't 3-round burst, 4-round. It was fully auto. Coming off fast. Oh yeah, hot and loud and fast. And then I saw two guys when I was out back. I could see through the backyards, through the fence. I saw a silhouette of two guys running up towards that street, returning single shots as they were running away. There's casings up here.
Ah, shit.
Okay. How many did you hear? You think?
It was like 30.
Like where all these cones are at? Probably that amount.
30 or 40. But this happened over there all the time.
Where's over there?
Right there, the house right there.
I heard a lot of gunfire, but when I first heard it, I thought it was a backfire because I saw this car sitting over here where all the cones are. He had his lights on. So I thought he was working on a car and it backfired real bad. Then I saw them loading people into cars to take them to the hospital, and I knew it wasn't, because this has happened so many times before.
So this is a regular occurrence, bro. I mean, I can't speak on people's environment or how they grew up, but like, it's just crazy how stuff like that happen out there, man.
I don't know what we're supposed to do.
It's sad.
We can't go outside. Nothing.
Even with all this new information, though, the cops are only
still
slightly
couldn't
closer
find
to
their
figuring
ass.
out what happened. They were now at least able to confirm that one group of shooters rolled up and started the exchange before another responded, causing a huge exchange of bullets throughout the neighborhood. But they still had two major questions. Who were the shooters, and how was Tiyara involved? Well, the cops had just spotted another witness that might be able to answer their questions. A woman who was actually on the street the moment the bullets
Oh yeah, I
started
seen it. She
flying.
ran hella frantically.
So you don't live here?
I'm not even from here. I was visiting.
So who owns the house?
Anitra Johnson.
She is? Okay.
She was out to eat when I called her.
Okay. Everyone's okay though, right? The kids?
The kids, yes.
Yeah,
The kids
okay.
are okay. I got them in the back watching TV.
Okay.
There was another girl outside. I think she got shot in the thigh or the leg. I think they took her probably to the hospital.
Okay.
She definitely got hit.
Okay. So what did you see?
I'm sitting outside. To be honest, we are family. So
Bro, getting shot in the leg would hurt so bad. Like my leg feeling weak thinking about it.
Come through shooting.
Yeah.
And it was like pow, pow, pow. It came through again. So I ran up. I didn't even know where the gun
which house is coming from. I wound up trying to grab the kids. They came through twice.
Okay. Did the house get hit at all?
I mean, I don't even fuck. Is that a bullet hole right here? I don't know. I was really just trying to grab the kids.
And you said it. So what? They got out. They got out of a Corolla.
They didn't even get out of the car.
Or they just started. They were hanging out.
They was hanging out shooting.
Did you see how many by chance? Three of them. Okay.
Now it's starting to sound a lot more like a drive-by shooting. Notoriously one of the hardest types of crimes to solve, especially if the vehicle was stolen. The cops are starting to lose confidence that they'll ever find Tiara's killer, but then they decide to ask one simple question.
Ma'am, do those cameras work?
I believe so.
Okay.
She on her way home.
Oh, she is? Okay, perfect.
Damn.
Oh,
Cooked.
On the property, and as soon
They're
as the
cooked.
homeowner got
They're
back,
caught.
they'd have access to the footage. So in just a few hours, the cops were able to put together just enough footage to understand exactly what happened. Remember, we already know all of this, but for the police, this was huge. Now they had a detailed timeline of the entire incident, including at what time it went down, how many people were involved, and which vehicles the
Whoever
suspects
edits this dude's
used.
videos
This
is...
would be very useful in the
This is a good editor.
interrogations in terms of verifying their suspects' claims and pressuring them to confess. Police finally had a solid piece of evidence, and right as their case had started to build some substance, their biggest lead yet would step out right in front of them.
I have video of them carrying the girl that got shot.
I can put it on an SD card.
And that's not the same one that was at
She'll send her a link and then she can just upload it from there.
right after they took off.
Not only had they seen the entire thing go down,
Bro.
but as soon as they heard gunshots, they started recording. They managed to get this clear footage of a man getting into the same vehicle spotted at the shooting just minutes earlier.
That's some scary looking shit.
Man getting into the same
Like, you taking a walk in your neighborhood and you see this shit, bro.
vehicle spotted at the shooting just minutes earlier. Now all they needed to do was track down the car using the visible license plate, and they'd have their first lead suspect.
He talking about, let me in, let me in.
These kids were no strangers to running from the police, and the officers would begin the hunt to find these evil teens. While all of this was going on, police had
Damn, who
another,
this?
perhaps more nerve-wracking situation to handle. Tiyara had passed away,
Oh.
and her family
Oh.
had no idea.
I'm tripping.
Apparently not letting too many people in the hospital. Let's step over here and see where all these cruises are.
My car, okay?
Where's your car at?
Fuck, man. I want to watch this. This is like tragic, bro. This is hella traumatic.
Tiyara Harris. I'm gonna say have you stand right here next to this.
Oh, man.
Okay. Take a deep breath.
Is she okay?
I don't know the names of who they are currently, miss.
Just listen to the cop's tone here.
Oh.
He knows just how bad things are looking for Tiyara, and he absolutely doesn't want to break that news to her mother yet, especially when he sees just how emotional she's starting to get. Tiyara's autopsy showed a single bullet struck her in the head and remained there. While tragic, this information would allow police to identify the exact bullet type and then gun used to shoot Tiyara. If they could find the owner of this gun, they would be able to match it to the bullet, and justice could be served for Tiyara and her family.
Oh my god, we don't got no time for fucking ads. I was just getting to the damn... Alright, bro. Skip, fuck.
Hey, come here!
They got a bunch of people showing up.
That's my son and my nephew.
Okay, well listen, they can't go in. It's gonna be
Y'all go in the car. Go in the car.
They telling us to wait outside.
I know. I'm going in. Go in my car.
The entire family is in distress.
Yeah,
with her
man,
mom
this is
shaking and doing
messed up.
everything she can to stay strong in front of her kids. It's truly a
Like, you raising your kids for 18, 19 years, and then just some unfortunate thing happens. Wrong place, wrong time, and now your kid's gone.
nightmare situation.
It's
and it
really
only got worse
crazy,
from
man.
there. At around
I wouldn't
8:30
wish that on
p.m.,
nobody.
They were informed that Tiyara didn't make it.
R.I.P.
Bullet to the
Tiyara.
back of the head had ended her life, sending her family into complete grief and agony. Now, police knew that they absolutely had to catch the people that did this to Tiara, or risk letting down her and her entire family. At this point, police had 6 different suspects on the run, all tied to the shooting, and they would eventually manage to track down and get interrogations with all of them. Their start came in the form of a Facebook post by someone named Jeremiah Williams, described as a member of the BBM gang.
Who were they even trying to kill?
Apparently, the post consisted of him bragging about being at the shooting and escaping without getting caught. By using
Dumbass, bro. That dumbass shit. You gonna brag about, bro?
profile,
I'm sorry, that
they'd
just
find
got
his
me heated.
address and pick him up for interrogation. With Jeremiah also being a
Put
supposed
this dude
gang
under the
member,
jail, man.
he too would prove to be extremely difficult to break. However, by using expert methods, police would actually get him to break completely, to the
Damn.
point where he actually started to cry.
You want some tissue? Yeah, that's true. How's it going, Jeremiah? Pretty good. Sorry for the wait, man.
Look, that bald dude looks like that one guy from Dexter. Hella off topic,
Smith.
but
This
I
is
just wanted to say that.
Nice to meet you. Alright, man. So the reason why we have you sitting here talking to us is we need you to think back to April. There's an incident that happened on Rockaway. Remember this? This young lady got shot. You remember hearing about that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so during our investigation, your name's been coming up. But do you know about where you were that day, if you can? Or
I was definitely at home.
Apparently, Jeremiah also has an alibi, and even gives multiple names over that'll attest he wasn't on Rockaway that night.
Let's be for real.
Where was that at Amherst?
Amherst. This was right before my mom moved to Louisiana. My best friend Rob talked to her sister, the girl that died. Her sister Dayani or Diane or however you say her name. My best friend Rob was like in a kind of little
like dating.
Yeah, with her sister.
Okay.
And it was crazy. We got on Facebook and it was all over Facebook. Her sister had got killed and stuff. And my mom was like, ain't that the girl that came over here the other day? And we like, no, that was her little sister.
Has her little sister reached out to you guys or anything?
We haven't talked to her, and I mean, I don't talk to her at all for real. But
so you were at your house.
They about to catch this dude.
Was there anyone with you that day?
My mom.
What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is April.
However, the detectives know this to be untrue. They know he was at the scene from the Facebook post he made. They know he did it, so they want to get a confession, or even better, some information that might help put more people in handcuffs. The thing is, they're initially going to find that a lot harder than they'd hope.
I have to ask, do you recognize this car?
Yeah, this was the car that was in that video. That's on Facebook.
So you remember it? Yeah. Have you ever been in this car?
No.
Do you know who drives this car or owns this car?
I don't know him by like name, but I know who he is.
Ah.
Pa or something.
Pa?
That's what they call him.
Do you know? Can you describe him?
That's funny because I don't even really know what he looks like. Like
I mean,
every time I've seen him with a ski mask on.
Okay.
Like I've never seen him outside of a ski mask.
Okay. All right. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Your past. Like, have you ever been in trouble or anything?
Yeah. I'm actually right now. I got probation.
So like just a weapons possession charge is all you got?
It's like carrying a concealed firearm in a motor vehicle.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Sounds a
Jeremiah
little
is making
familiar.
a conscious attempt to give as little information over as possible while still trying to seem cooperative. He's smart. He doesn't want to completely close himself off, as that'll make him seem guilty, but he also doesn't want to give up any vital information. The cops ask him who was there, where he was sitting in the car, even questions about the guns, but he refuses to speak, and he's starting to seriously frustrate the cops. But all this talk of courts and investigations doesn't seem to be getting them anywhere at all. So instead, they switch gears. They're going to be as direct as possible, and
They
give
about
it
to
him
put him on
straight.
blast. Hold up.
That's their last hope at getting him to crack.
What do your friends call you? Do you have a nickname or anything?
Jay.
We're just getting to know you, man.
Right.
Obviously, we can see that you're not a bad person. Just the vibes I'm getting.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the vibes I'm getting.
Talking to us for a reason. And it comes back down to this incident. You being honest with us is what we'll be able to work with you. We know that you were there. we also got your DNA in this car.
If I've been in that car, I would tell you guys I've been in
Is
that
that
car.
true?
But I have no reason to lie or no reason to put myself in any trouble.
Your role in it is the driver, because we know you're the driver. Really, what we're looking for is why. You're already being charged with the incident. You explaining your actions and what really went down is it's just going to help you.
Everything's about to go to shit for them.
But you not being honest with what went down is not going to help you. It's going to, the prosecutor and the judge and jury are going to look at someone who's not remorseful.
Drove over there and they started shooting.
So they told you to drive over to Rockaway?
Yeah.
Who was
Mm,
in the front and Zebo sitting
yeah,
behind me.
yeah.
I was sitting on the door.
It worked. The cops actually got a name. It was a nickname, but cops could eventually tie this back to a man named Zaire Saunders, who would be interrogated later. This was huge. They'd actually gotten a gangster to tell on one of his partners. But they weren't done
Gangster.
yet. They knew he still had more information, and they weren't going to stop putting on the pressure now.
We got to go back to who was in the car with you. I know you know Zebo. Pa, you say you just know him by Pa. Do you know his real name? Okay. And the third person, you're saying you. How often have you seen him? Would you be able to identify that last person by a picture?
Jeremiah physically looks defeated. He's avoiding eye contact and is hunched over. He likely never saw himself giving up the names of his partners, but
In this situation, bro, like just the amount of stress on your mind and body while you snitching on your homeboys, knowing they probably gonna come after you when they get out, if they get out, it's just awful, bro. He's in
that's exactly where he
distress
found himself.
and just full
The
distress.
cops, however, are over the moon, even managing to get descriptions of the people he doesn't know the names of. They ask a few more questions before leaving him alone for a minute to prepare their next move.
Oh man.
However, on their return, they didn't expect to see Jeremiah, a once tough and unbeatable
Crying.
gang member, too
Damn, man. Crying ain't gonna change nothing, but
And his first name was what?
Darian.
Is this him?
Work today is broken.
bro, they are trying to make a bag off these ads.
And it's killing team
I don't
productivity.
skip. Damn.
Do you want some tissue, man? I need a verbal yes or no. That's it.
Yeah.
So let me get tissue.
If this is the first time you've seen a gang member cry, you're certainly not alone. But it actually happened again in the detective's very next interrogation. While these cops were busy talking to Jeremiah, a breakthrough had been made outside of the interrogation room. Remember this footage recorded by a civilian witness earlier? Well, after 5 days of investigation, they actually managed to track the car down, enabling them to take in another suspect, Antonil Whitaker. Police would quickly realize that Antonil might be even more important than Jeremiah as a suspect. He's a supposed member of the BBM gang, and believed to be one of the suspects that initiated the shootout. The thing is, he's just
Is that
17 years
is that chips and water on the table? Oh, he's snitching.
old. Since there's still some information even
Oh,
Jeremiah
he's snitching,
couldn't
man.
give them, they figured they might be able to scare him into giving up everything he knows. And their first idea is an unconventional but possibly extremely effective method: a call home to mom.
Shit.
Hello, Ma.
This is really, really serious now. You need to put yourself wherever you was and get to telling with your
Uh,
as much as you can, because you can't take the blame for this, and this was not you. You shouldn't be sitting there. They know it's your car. You can't get out of that. You better than this.
Antonil doesn't even seem to feel like following his mother's advice.
he's sick of his mom. He ain't trying to hear none of that shit.
Someone else was actually driving it that day. And even more unfortunately, he'd forgotten exactly who.
Oh no.
Listen
I
to
don't
this
remember.
story and see if you believe it as much as the detectives do.
So you saying you went?
What he talking about?
You were at home? No. Wait. Like Someone took your car somehow, brought your car back, gave you the keys back or whatever, and then so you could take your sister home. That doesn't make sense, man. You know, a jury, you know, a judge, they're not. I'll be honest with you. I mean, what you're giving is not even a good statement. It's not even a good lie. That's why it probably be easier for you to tell the truth.
You see, about an hour after the shooting, Antonil was confirmed to have used his car to pick his sister up from an event, meaning it was clear that he was still in possession of it. But that didn't faze Antonil, and despite how many questions police asked him, he refused to give up anything.
How this works, you might already know this from TV, but I mean, it's kind of accurate. We're going to compare your DNA to the DNA on the shell casings that we collected on scene. Is there any reason your DNA is going to be on there? Because if there is, you've got to explain that.
Talking about nah.
No, or I don't know. Who got in the car with you at Aldi's? If you're saying your DNA is not going to be on those shell casings, right? And you're saying you weren't driving, who did you let drive your car? Believe it.
I don't know this guy.
But right now it looks like it's on you.
They're trying to force a confession out of him by telling him that if he'd been in physical contact with any of the evidence tied to the murder, they would find out and he would get sentenced. And they're not lying either. When you touch anything at all, you leave behind skin cells, sweat, small hairs, or even oils that can quickly be traced back to you. Meaning, if Antonil had touched the car, the bullets when loading his gun, or anything else related to the murder, police would find out. However, as of now, detectives haven't had the time to run these tests to confirm if his DNA was present, meaning they couldn't pressure him to a confession, and they'd have to wait until later. So in the meantime, they move their attention to the next suspect. Remember the man Jeremiah gave up to the cops back in his interrogation? That was Zaire Saunders.
See, this dude look evil
Once
as
they had his
hell.
name, they tracked him down and arrested him. And he would prove to be even more helpful than Antonil and Jeremiah combined.
Did you know of or hear about that young lady who got killed?
Yeah.
Did you know her?
No.
We don't think that she was the one meant to be hurt. And I mean, based on what we're seeing.
R.I.P.
But unfortunately, she did get obviously hurt. Her family's hurt.
Right.
You know, when we did that search warrant, we got your phone.
Yes.
Okay. And we downloaded your phone. And your location is putting you on Rockaway that day. No shit. What happened that day, man?
I shot a pistol. You shot a pistol.
Damn.
This seems like a breakthrough. He's just admitted to being a part of the shooting, and it seems that all the detectives' work has just paid off. But they're not quite there yet. Of the 3 shooters, 2 did indeed use pistols, but one of them was actually yielding the extremely dangerous automatic rifle that
Yeah.
can be seen clear
Yeah,
as day
that
in
evil
this
ass
footage
shit.
here. Instead of jumping this fence after the shooting, the man with the rifle fled directly down Rockaway Street, and that's the direction Zaire's phone shows him running. The good news is, that clears Zaire of being the man that killed Tiyara. After all, she was killed with a very specific pistol round. But that does put him directly in the spotlight of being the man with the most dangerous weapon, and one that is directly lying to the cops right now. And they're not about to let him get away with that.
We have video of the incident. You're on camera shooting a rifle.
Is it a pistol that holds, 2 rifle rounds?
I mean, it ain't just. It is big.
It's just big.
Stock on it, like something kind of modified type thing.
No, it didn't have a stock on it. So describe it then. I'm getting the money of this rifle.
That single piece of information resulted in Zaire actually getting the highest sentence out of
20
anyone
years.
involved in the case.
20 years right
Using
there.
Such a dangerous firearm actually increased his prison time by somewhere between 10 and 15 years. But he still doesn't know that yet. He's still under the guise that
My
if he
God,
helps the detectives
man.
out, he might get a better deal.
Is that no? They're all
Not only did he
cooked.
tell them where to find the rifle he used, he also gave up one of the most vital pieces of information the cops had received in the entire case.
The group BBM. I just know they call it BBM. For real. BBM. Yeah.
Zaire just told the cops the name of the gang that was involved. A huge piece of information that will help them track down every last individual that was part of this attack. Now the detectives have just one more final question that'll hopefully put together the final pieces of the puzzle they're looking for.
You've been extremely helpful throughout this whole interview, and you're helping yourself out too. We gotta ask, whose idea was it?
I know for sure it wasn't mine. They just around, so we'll just say, yo, it was my dudes. But you got different dudes, and you got different, like, that's how they is. But, like, they ain't say it right then and there. They said it on Facebook, like, but they was like, I knew they was talking about me. They just didn't say it directly to me, but I knew they was talking about me.
He just gave up the group chat where all of these shootings supposedly were planned. With this, police simply had to cross-reference the names in the group.
All it take is one dude to say some shit, and then it's just a domino effect, and everything gonna crumble down.
Shooters on the CCTV and the names that had been mentioned in previous interrogations.
Oh, why he sitting like that?
Enough evidence to sentence all 6 had been mentioned.
Hold up, look at this dude.
Giving them enough evidence to sentence all 6 of the shooters. But unfortunately,
sitting like Kendrick, man. Bro, let one more ad come up again.
He would install Pi on his computer.
I swear.
The resolution they'd hoped for. After examining all the weapons confiscated, it would turn out that none of them were a match to the bullet found in Tiyara's head, meaning they still couldn't tie any specific person to the actual murder. However, there is one puzzle piece we haven't told you about yet. The one that would solve this entire case. Watching the CCTV footage, it's clear that there is one man that directly shot at Tiyara's vehicle. If you follow this man, dressed in all black, back through the CCTV, you can trace him all the way back to the driver's seat of this black truck. A black truck that, until now, the cops were completely unable to identify. But then, they received one final piece of footage from a witness, allowing them to track it back to the owner, 44-year-old mother, Kia Brown. Police realized they had to interview her, knowing that whoever was driving Kia's black truck that day killed Tiyara Harris.
Hey, how you doing, ma'am?
How are you?
Good. I'm Detective Smith. This is Detective Davis with Akron Police.
Hi.
Hey, we wanted to talk to you or whoever drives this truck. Reference that incident that happened up the street. They were being shot at. And we're finally trying to catch up with them. Looked like a couple males. And
it's probably her son.
I heard about what happened on the corner. This is my truck, but my son was driving.
It wasn't Kia.
Straight up! It wasn't even like 2 minutes and she's talking about my son was driving. He's snitching already?
Driving the car that night. And after running his name, they'd find out he had ties to a rival gang, BBM. So the detectives had Kia call her son and hand over the phone to the officers.
I have some detectives here right now. The day that we were moving in, the incident that happened around the corner, they would like to speak with you. Do you
that mama don't give a fuck. Talking about, do you have a moment?
How you doing? Good. I'm Detective Smith. I'm with Detective Davis with me. Hey, what's your name before we get started, bud?
Lanier, right?
Lanier. All right, Lanier. How you doing, man?
I'm good,
So listen, man, I won't keep too much of your time. We were wondering if we could talk with you and your mom maybe in person at some point, and we wanted to talk to you about that incident that happened up the street. We know you're over there, so we were hoping you could help us, actually. You're not in any trouble. We're actually hoping you could help us. Would there be a good day for you to...
This weekend, fine?
Yeah, Sunday the 8th. Can we do it anytime after 2:30? Okay.
Anytime after 2:30?
All right, man. We appreciate it. We'll see you at 3:30.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Bye.
And just like that, they had an interview scheduled. And this was the final suspect at the scene that they hadn't yet spoken to. The man suspected to be the driver of the black truck and the man they think shot Tiyara.
Dad, how you doing? What's up, man? Appreciate you talking with us. So, I mean, obviously you know why we're here. About that incident that happened up the street. So, we just wanted to know your perspective. That happened that day. What'd you see? That type of stuff. But you can run us through that day?
I was standing in the driveway on my phone. Then heard shots. I got down, ducked. Then when the shots stopped, I heard that ran to the car.
When the shots started happening, you ran and got in the driver's seat, and then teen got in your passenger seat, right? Okay.
That was it. Lanier had just told them he
Damn.
was driving the black truck that day, confirming he was the man in all black that drove the truck and hopped in the Chevy. He was the man that fired the bullets. So they decided to ask him up front.
I'm about to ask you something, man. I'm about to ask you from your parents. I'm sorry, but I gotta ask. Did you shoot that day? Okay.
Even though he said no, police already had all the evidence they needed.
They're
The
not buying
car
that
tied
shit.
to him, his ties to the rival gang, and finally the video of him shooting at Tiara's car. So they arrested him on the spot and brought him in for interrogation.
What's up, man? Lanier? Hey, come in.
Am I able to have a lawyer with me right now?
What's that?
Can I have a lawyer with me?
You can
right
do
now?
whatever you want, man. I'm not here to. Okay. Are you saying you want your lawyer? You don't want to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But in the end,
Smart.
this wouldn't matter, as when they arrested
I
and
guess not.
processed
Alright.
him, they managed to confiscate his gun. And after analyzing the forensics of the bullet inside of
It's
Tiara
him.
and
It was
Lanier's
him.
gun, it was a match.
Damn.
Lanier had fired the killing shot. After 5 months of investigation, all the puzzle pieces were finally in place. In total, 7 people were charged in this incident. Zaire Saunders was charged with involuntary manslaughter and 4 counts of felonious assault and was sentenced to 35 to 40 years. Antonil
Oh
Walker
my
and Jeremy
god.
Williams got 20 to 24 years on similar charges, while the 4th assailant in this group, Darion Rackley, got 34 to 40
Oh.
years. It was confirmed Antonil's DNA was in fact found on various bullet casings on Rockaway Street.
Whole
The
life
same as
over
Williams in the
after that,
interrogation
man.
room. The next 2 to be sentenced were the ones who shot back at Zaire's group after being rolled up on. They were Javier Small and Jonte Smith, who were sentenced to 4 years and 2.5 years respectively.
That's
Lastly
not
was
bad at
Lanier
all.
Worthy, Tiara's actual killer. However, as of this video's upload, he's still awaiting sentencing. Tiara and George were not involved in any of the gangs in the shootout and were found completely innocent. At long last, Tiara and her family could finally be at peace. Half of our profits in this video will be donated to the Akron.
Wow, man. R.I.P. Tiara. That shit. That's very sad to see. I mean, I literally have nothing to say. I'm in a bad mood now watching that shit. But, yep. See y'all in the next one.